And we're back. If you are watching these or listening to these back to back, just like I watched the first two films back to back. Either way, Godfather Part II.
The Godfather Part II, winner of 6 Academy Awards, including Best Picture of the Year, Best Supporting Actor, Robert De Niro, Best Director, Francis Ford Coppola, Best Original Dramatic Score, Nino Rota and Carmine Coppola, Best Screenplay adapted from another medium, Francis Ford Coppola and Mario Puzo, Best Art Direction and Set Decoration, Art Direction, Dean Tavoularis and Angelo Graham, Set Decoration, George R. Nelson, The Godfather Part II.
Let's do this now, actually. Let's open with this.
Oh, okay.
Which film do you prefer, Will?
For me, it's definitely Part 2.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer Part 2 a lot.
I think they're both 10 out of 10. There's no way around that.
Yeah.
And I tie them at my favourite film. I think that Part 2 is the better film. I think I prefer Part 1.
The history of 2 generations of crime. The drama of absolute power and the men who violate it. The Godfather Part II.
What is your name?
Don Vito Corleone and his son Michael. Both had seen the ones they loved most cut down before their eyes. Both had killed as an act of vengeance. Both commanded the most powerful and merciless crime organization in the world.
Is it true that in the year 1950, you devised the murder of the heads of the so-called 5 families in New York?
It's a complete falsehood.
Why do you prefer Part 2?
I prefer the story. I like the time differences, the 2 stories at different times. I like explaining things that happened in the first one and sort of looking back. And I think Al Pacino is very good.
He is very good. We'll do this part now as well. When it comes to Godfather Part 2, I always find myself enjoying the Michael parts more, and it's not that young Vito isn't also excellent and doesn't have some of my favorite parts of the film, but I'm looking at all my single minutes and all my favorite moments, and it's
but then you
mainly
can argue
the Michael stuff.
You want to wipe everybody out?
I don't feel I have to wipe everybody out, Tom. Just my enemies.
Make any arrangement.
Michael, we're bigger than U.S. Steel.
Order any death. To protect the empire they controlled. The Godfather and his heir. Both were men of ice, and both were targets.
They're still on the property. Please, Michael, please stay inside.
Keep them alive.
We'll try.
Michael! Alive!
The Godfather Part II is Sicily in 1921 and Nevada in 1958.
I'd argue if the De Niro story wasn't in Godfather Part 2, then it wouldn't be as good.
Mm.
And it
no.
wouldn't be
I
a
mean,
10.
I think it still would be a 10. But I think it.
No.
Okay.
Is this
Well,
one of the greatest sequels of all time?
Yeah, this
Yes.
is the best sequel of all time.
Adam's Family Values is pretty good.
Adam's Family Values. I'm close to my heart there. It's always Debbie Jelinski, John Cusack. Who's a better sequel villain? Is it Debbie Jelinski or is it Hyman Roth?
Well, Shrek 2.
Batman Returns.
That's Batman Returns. Paddington 2, of course.
Paddington 2. I'm a big Jaws 2 guy. I'm not going to say it's the best ever.
Really?
I think Jaws 2 is quite underrated.
I've always been Jaws 4.
It is revolution in Havana and rubouts in New York. It is manipulation.
It would be like trying to kill the president. There's no way we can get to him.
If anything in this life is certain, if history's taught us anything, it says you can kill anyone.
It is murder. And it is betrayal.
It was a son, and I had it killed because this must all end.
The Godfather Part II is the final chapter in the violent history of the Corleone crime family. It is the motion picture masterpiece of the year.
Well, we're famously Die Hard 2 boys.
We are.
Which Ava feels physically sick with.
Really?
She skips 2 every time. She's 1 and 3.
Whoa.
I know, which doesn't make any sense to me because arguably I think 3 is, 4 and 5 we don't even talk about, but 3 is probably my least favourite. But anyway.
You've got Dark Knight.
Yes. Obviously the best of that trilogy.
Yes. What's
Best
your appearance on Judgment Day?
One of the best sequels.
Yes.
I adore Terminator 2. Aliens.
Aliens is
another
great.
great film. I fancy a Cameron.
Oh, should we do?
I might do a Cameron rewatch this afternoon. Well, no, actually, I need to watch some movies for upcoming episodes, including Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, All the President's Men, Misery, Magic, Marathon Man, The Princess Bride.
You were telling me about that scene in Magic, weren't you? Which
I was.
You describe as Hopkins' best ever performance.
I do think that Magic is Hopkins. I hope I haven't bigged it up too much for you. But we'll see. I know it. I hope that it won't disappoint. I secretly know that it won't. But we will see.
We will indeed.
Godfather Part 2, YouTube comments.
Yes.
I think Vito's story is more interesting than Michael's. I think you're in agreement. I'm not. I give this movie 1 out of 10 stars, and the first one 8 out of 10. What a complete joke this movie was.
What?
I don't understand. I don't know somebody who could who could love the first film and not like this movie even remotely.
I mean, they just tried to make a statement there, giving it a 1. They surely will. It's at least a 9.
Seems like an amazing video game.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Godfather video games. I'd play that.
Press X to slap your wife. Press Y to confess abortion. It was an abortion, Michael. We'll get to that. Let's jump straight into... I dropped my pen. Jump straight into 10-minute stretch, Willie.
Let's do it. My 2 10-minute stretches are I think you will be proud of, because they are in themselves bookends. It's
Right.
the opening 10 minutes.
Yep.
You've got that opening shot is wonderful. You've got, and I love the parallel of the first movie beginning with a wedding and this movie beginning with a funeral. That's a clever one. Something I
all
would come up
three
with.
films
I'm also
sort
very
of,
clever.
I mean, if we ignore the first 10 minutes, all three
Yeah.
films open with a big celebration. Obviously, in this, you've got the communion of young Anthony. And then in the third film, it said they're giving him an award or something. Either way, it's just a wonderful half an hour setup
And
each time.
You've got sort of just a bit of context to read on the right, which is perfect amount, and you've got the procession slowly getting closer and closer, and the music growing, and it's very good. And then it just dissolves, and it's whoa.
Yep.
That opening 10 minutes is sublime. I love it. And for my other contender, I've got the closing 10 minutes. You've again got
the murder of Fredo, Roth, and Pentangeli.
Yeah, going into that final flashback dinner table, and then Pacino in outside,
still smoking, and then we have the Evita flashback of the train passing by. Say goodbye, Michael. Say goodbye.
No, for me, they are the two best 10-minute stretches.
I agree. I've got them both right in front of me. I also have the abortion reveal. The best acting Diane Keaton's ever done. The best acting Al Pacino's ever done.
Yep.
The whole Havana, the New Year's Eve in Havana, surely will. The breakdown of all of that, the kiss, the attempted murder of Hyman Roth, the Michael realizing, that Gianni knows the best places. Come on, Fredo. You're giving it away. It's not very good. The death of Don Fanucci, the big celebration, and young Vito going across all of the rooftops, and then that wonderful flicking of the light, owl, bang, fire.
And he waits so he's facing him. He doesn't shoot him in the back like that.
Do you know that John Wayne was offered the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and the Fistful of Dollars, and the Man with No Name trilogy, but he turned it down because he said, "I would never shoot a man in the back on a film."
In the back of a what?
He would never have one of his characters shoot a man in the back.
Oh, good for you, John Wayne.
Do you know what the only movie you see John Wayne die in is?
True Grit?
The Quiet Man. A little Irish drama.
Oh.
Brady McMahon, you sound like a flame-haired Irish woman that John Wayne would have. And I have the sort of reconciliation of Fredo period. Very heartbreaking. I mean, it'll be an Oscar travesty, but is there a bigger travesty than John Cazale not getting nominated for Best Supporting Actor? And what
Absolutely.
If not even win, I mean, never mind winning. Absolute travesty. Jesus Christ. Tom's Ridley's specific favourite parts of the film. I love how brutal the death of Vito's mother is with that shotgun blasting her away.
She gets thrown back.
Yeah, it's wonderful. From the offset, we are constantly introduced to the idea that this is a whole new world. We are not in the old, which is why the flashbacks mean so much to us, because it's like a relief of, the good old days, wonderful. From Geary, I'd like to give this gift to to Michael Corleone. He did all the pronunciation of the Corleone name. The Pentangeli trying to, Italy Viva, Tarantella, and they play Pop Goes the Weasel. It's all very structured, capitalist. Coppola has made no qualms that he's always seen the films as about the dangers of capitalism, and microcosms for America. I love drunk Diana falling about, and Fredo just can't handle her. He tries, never marry a wop, never marry a wop, and he tries, and he just has to apologize to Michael. He's like, I can't handle her, Michael. I can't handle her. Kay and Michael dancing. The last time we see them even remotely happy. Two painful things there. We talked about in the last episode. The 7 year. This reminds me, Michael. You said that 5 years from now, the Corleone family would be entirely legitimate. That was 7 years ago. And into that, Michael, does it feel like a boy? Little do we know, as it will continue. The introduction of Don Fanucci. Sit down, you bum! What a wonderful way to set up such a villainous bastard. The rug gunshot with Bruno Kirby as Clemenza.
Yes.
Pointing his gun. Wonderful Bruno Kirby from When Harry Met Sally. We have Jess in this movie. I love when Geary, because when he's been caught, well, not caught, he's been framed with a dead prostitute, and when he unties her, and he's like, no, it was just a game, it was just a game, and imagine that. Imagine thinking that you've blacked out and killed a woman. That wonderful little single frame of Neary washing his hands. Maybe that's a change. I don't have any changes in front of me, but come on, we need to know that Geary didn't kill him, but Al Neary's doing a bit obvious, popping in. Take it out. I love deceitful, evil Hyman Roth when he's talking to Michael, and he goes, "When we used to haul molasses, the trucks owned by your father," and he's like just trying to get him on his side. Little does he know that Michael is always one step ahead. Wonderful. The famous kiss, the brutality of the face grab. I love black turtleneck guy getting shot through the pillow. I always found that rather satisfying. I don't know why.
Maybe it's the turtleneck. I love a turtleneck.
And he only wears that. He only wears that and a hat and his jacket.
I own 2 turtlenecks. Unfortunately, they don't fit me.
Do you kill people? Are they your assassination suits as well?
Not yet. Yes. If I buy one more turtleneck and it doesn't fit, that might be the last straw.
The ironic car offer of Ralph Hyman's dead. There's no way out, Fredo. You're still my brother. You're still my brother. And he just runs away. And I was thinking about this as a parallel between this and the first film, because in the first film, the failed assassination is to the family's advantage, because we have, Ethel Salozzo saying to Tom Hagen, he's dead. You've got nowhere else to go. And then he finds out that he's still alive. Whereas now, in the descent for Michael, he's the one that's been shafted by a failed assassination. I've always liked Michael in the snow. He's walking around his little snowy playground alone.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the best shot in the film is him looking to Al Neary.
I disagree.
After the funeral. Sorry, at the funeral, when he's hugging Fredo and he just gives that single glint to Al Neary.
It's not the best shot of it. It's good. The best shot of the film is little Vito looking out the window with the Statue of Liberty.
Oh. Even over angry Michael bent over a sofa about to slap Kay?
That's very good. But you need the minute. You need to see the progression.
You do. And the head lower, that single bang, and then no big weepy. I mean, yeah, of course, it's Michael Corleone, which is why the third film doesn't make any sense. But that single just Lowering of the head.
And he's like, at first you think, is he all right? Because he's slowly disappearing out of frame. It's like, where's he going? Where's he going?
Mr. Roth, you understand I'll have to take you into custody?
Yes, I understand. Can you give us your reaction to the High Court of Israel's ruling?
I'm a retired investor on a pension. I went to Israel because I wished to live there as a Jew in the twilight of my life.
Is it true you're worth over $300 million, Mr. Roth?
I'm a retired investor living on a pension. I came home to vote in the presidential election because they wouldn't give me an absentee ballot.
And the slit wrists of potentially, attempting honor. What else can he do?
Yeah.
Will's more general favourite parts of the film.
I love how the origin of the surname Corleone is done. I think that's it. That's all it needs. It's just a simple.
It's a lot better
mistake.
than Solo.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I haven't.
He goes, Han. He goes, my name's Han. And he goes, is there anybody with you? He goes, no, I'm on my own. Han Solo. It's terrible. It's so bad. Oh, you've no idea. But this is a lot better. Just some ignorant.
This is done very well.
Yeah. Corleone, move on. Vito Corleone. You took the name of this place. Lovely. As you were.
I like Vito's towel catching fire. And he's
because it would, wouldn't it? It would.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. Oh.
And the escape just after assassinating the Don. I love the getaway car. It's very fun.
Yes. It's not got the fun of the first film, even though the first film deals with a lot of the same. Well, actually, no, it does have the fun because the rise of Vito's wonderful, isn't it? I
find, that's why I enjoy the second one more. I find it more fun to watch, whereas it's more fun. I smile more, whereas the first one it's very gritty.
Yeah. I definitely the Vito stuff is all very enjoyable and seeing the rise, and then you weigh that up with. I always feel that the first film ends. You sort of doesn't leave you on a bittersweet note. You sort of feel good for the family, even though you can see the, instigation of the destruction of the relationship between Michael and Kay. It's.
But again, it's your theory that you've got to watch them both together.
Oh, yeah.
You've put them together because you watch the second one and you enjoy the first one even better, and you've got to watch the first one
and you leave feeling sick.
Vice versa, they're wonderful. They go together like
Rama but that second film, that it leaves you feeling like, leaves such a sour note. It's wonderful. Oscar travesty. Let's just do it now. Jesus. I mean, obviously good, yeah. I mean, though, this is a pretty stacked year. Chinatown, excellent. Masterpiece. Conversation, masterpiece. Lenny, really good. Towering Inferno, interesting film. Yeah. Woman Under the Influence, brilliant film. So,
see,
go on.
I would argue the best actor category this year is even more impressive. That's a bunch of names.
Yeah, it's a bunch of names, and all four are bloody better than Carney and Harry and Tonto.
Yeah.
How does the greatest performance ever not beat? It's this bloody consolation prize thing. Very annoying. But Dustin Hoffman's great in Lenny. Nicholson is incredible in Chinatown. Albert Finney is, I'd say, enjoyable as Hercule.
Oh, I love Albert Finney.
I love Albert Finney. I prefer him in in Annie. Jenna Rowlands should have won for Best Actress, but that's a matter for a different day. So Godfather Part 2 gets 3 nominations, none of which are Jim Cazale.
How do you think Pacino feels again being shafted? And then this new kid, what's he playing at? He just he's won it.
Yeah. Fred Astaire is again enjoyable in the Terry Inferno.
He's not an actor. Fred Astaire, right? He's a dancer on Hollywood who can act and sing. He's not a no. This makes me sound like I hate Fred Astaire. I love.
So we're getting rid of Fred Astaire and putting in Jim Cazale.
Yeah.
What if like a year happened where like all 5 were the same film?
Do they do that anymore? Are they allowed to? Well, there's controversy, isn't there?
There's
nowadays?
no way around it. There's no rules against it. It just a lot of people just see it as like they like to spread the vote around.
Yeah.
So there.
It's more so of a thing if the same person is nominated twice for 2 films. That's more of a seems to be a bigger issue.
So yeah, Lee Strasberg as Hyman Roth is exceptional. Michael V. Gazzo as Frank Pentangeli is also great. De Niro is obviously brilliant as Vito. But where is Jim Cazale? I'd say Jim Cazale is the best performance out of all of those people. I completely agree with Talia Shire getting a nomination for this film. I think she does a wonderful job in the second.
Yes.
I think the first part, she famously, some people think she overacts a little bit. I think so. I think.
No, but that flashback, that dinner table, very good.
Oh, what a flashback. You know what the worst part of that flashback is?
The child.
No, Fredo going,
I
feel good for you, Mikey. And then he's just killed him. He's just killed the man. Oh, so painful. So brilliant. It wins best screenplay. Now, we're big Young Frankenstein people. Is Young Frankenstein a better script than Godfather Part 2?
I don't want to be that guy, but you can't really compare them.
You always do cop out.
I am that guy.
You always say this. You always do. Oh, you can't really. So for some reason this year it was allowed score nomination, even though they were reusing stuff from. I mean, John Williams got nominated for Rise of Skywalker, and so who knows? But yeah, no, Godfather Part 2, incredible score, and rightly so. Pardon me. He rode a blazing saddle. It should have won. Should have won the song. Best cinematography, not even a nomination for Gordon Willis. I think that's slightly travesty-like. Why not? No nomination for editing.
Oh, but I love the Towering Inferno. It's great. It's wonderful.
But is it a better edited film, Will, than The Godfather Part? No, it's not, though, is it? It's just not. Oh, anyway. But I like Madeline Kahn for supporting actress for I'm tired. I'm so tired. Yes, because obviously Young Frankenstein and Blazing Saddles came out in the same year. What a year for Mel Brooks. What a man. Will's favourite building or set?
It's Michael's house.
It's the compound, which
it
is incredible.
Lovely glass wall. Oh, I mean that shot of him watching Fredo get killed.
And that great bar that's got that little carousel wheel that you can put drinks on.
It's a necessity. When you get a house, you've got to build a bar. Buy a house with a bar.
I want 2 things. I want a nice bar, and I want it to be fully stocked. And then whenever we go to foreign countries or whatever, I can bring one back, and it can become well known. And then people can gift us with like spirits and stuff, and they can go on the bar. And then I want enough proper shelving everywhere. I'm fed up of bloody little piles of DVDs here and piles of DVDs there. I want everything. I want a bar, and I also want. Well,
the idea is I'm going to design my own house.
Like
that's the
Indecent
aim.
Proposal.
But instead, I won't just get a circle, a triangle, and a square and put them together to be like, wow. It's just a bad house. I'm glad it never got finished.
Indecent Proposal, not...
yes. No, this is lovely. No, I want a bar. Three things. I wanted games like underground sort of casino games room.
Underground casino?
Yeah, I wanted underground casino.
You're really upping the budget on this.
Yes. Oh, you could get casino shits on Amazon for cheap.
Yeah, but not the table.
No. It's a charity shop, British Art Foundation. They do nice. But then I want like an open plan as you walk in. It's all open plan, but then you can see the landing. Like you can see up to it, so it overhangs. So if someone's still on the landing, they can look down and see everything in the open plan. That's. I like houses.
Famously. Is there any other possible nominations for building or sets?
What would you put in there? I mean, you could talk about, again, the Sicilian sort of nice olds.
Yes,
but they're sort of more worn down. I don't want to talk about that.
Why? Because you're jealous.
I am.
You should be. It's great. No, I think I obviously agree with you. I think that compound is marvelous. It's really nice. However, the Havana ballroom that they spend New Year's Eve in looks lovely. No, I don't agree. Best single minute. I'll start.
Hey.
It's Michael and Fredo when they're arguing.
C'è qualcosa con Ma?
Don Corleone, I wish you would have let me know you were coming. I could have prepared something for you.
I didn't want you to know I was coming. You heard what happened in my home?
Mike, I almost died myself. It was all so relieving.
In my home! In my bedroom where my wife sleeps! Where my children come and play with their toys. In my home.
It's not what I wanted. It's not how I wanted it. I'm your younger brother, Mikey. I come to you. That's great. Again, how Jim Cazale didn't... John Cazale, not Jim Cazale. Do you know the sad story about John Cazale?
No.
Okay, so John Cazale is in 5 films in his life. He is in the 70s, and all 5 win or are nominated for Best Picture. Godfather Part II, The Conversation, and Dog Day Afternoon, and Deer Hunter. So Deer Hunter time, he's dating Meryl Streep, and at this point he knows he's going to die of cancer, and so Meryl Streep, Michael Cimino, the director, and John Cazale keep it a big secret because they know that the studio won't let him be in the film just in case he dies and they have to reshoot or whatever, and they do this big secret plot, and he gets to be in the Deer Hunter, and his legacy continues, and it's a very sad thing that we didn't get another decade, if not 3, if not 4, of wonderful performances. Very upsetting. Best single minute, Geary ×2. I love both big Geary scenes. I love the prostitute scene where Tom comes to him and he's like, "We can sort this out. By chance, my brother Fredo works here." Oh, they've lied to him. They've set him up. It's the most devilish thing that Michael does. Just to kill a woman, to frame a man, to have a senator in the pocket. Brutal stuff, really.
It wasn't a miscarriage. It was an abortion. An abortion, Michael. Just like our marriage is an abortion. Something that's unholy and evil. I didn't want your son, Michael. I wouldn't bring another one of your sons into this world. It was an abortion, Michael. It was a son, and I had it killed because this must all end. I know now that it's over. I knew it then. There would be no way, Michael. No way you could ever forgive me. Not with this Sicilian thing that's been going on for 2,000 years. Oh!
And the other Geary scene, the initial Geary scene, my offer is that nothing. And
then he disappears off, and you see him talking to Diane, and then Michael's just looking at him, and it's at that point you think, oh no, he's brought his family into this now. Now he's going to pay.
You're goddamn right, because you don't go against the family. The assassination attempt, as you alluded to in the previous film, where he yanks her down and he forces her head down and he covers her, and wonderful stuff. Yeah. Do you like this? Yes or no? When you drew pictures for your family, Will, did you have "Do you like this?" Yes or no to fill in?
No, because it was always a yes.
Oh, good. Oh, yes, you're an artiste.
I'm an artist.
Fredo in bed with Diana and the phone call, waking up in the middle of the night, and you lied to me. You didn't say it was going to be a hit. Do we believe this? Do we believe that Fredo didn't think it was going to be a hit? Is he that stupid though?
He is, because the thing is, you look at that, but also he's the sleazy guy who gets the prostitutes. So, but is that just because he's the simple one that's been given that job? We never.
The return to Sicily and the murder.
What a murder! That I've got. Yeah,
what a murder indeed.
Dragging the knife across his chest. That you think it's going to be just a gunshot. The way that he leans in, and you thought, okay, why is he holding? Again, it's mirroring when he's holding the towel. He's holding something around his. What's that? There's a gun there. But no, he said, "This is for you." Very what was because obviously De Niro was obviously he had creative freedom, but he was kind of pushed back, limited by what was already established as that character from Brando. So he had to be quite understated about everything.
And you can hear he's doing a bit of a Brando, and he's doing a few little things, and I think it works.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the reverse of Tom Hanks. When Tom Hanks, they'd already shot all the kid stuff, and so Tom Hanks watched the Forrest Gump kid stuff religiously because he was like, I've got to be this kid. So in actuality, the Oscar maybe should go to the child. Or Morgan Freeman for The Shawshank Redemption, but that's a matter for a different day. The talk of Rome before Pentangeli's slitting of his wrists. It's wonderful. I put here KW kids. K with kids. K with kids. Oh, K with kids. When she's with the kids and Talia, Connie comes in. Michael will be home soon. You've got to go. You've got to go. And kiss your mother goodbye, Anthony. Anthony! Painful. Painful. Brilliant. Wonderful. Best line. No. Your best single minute.
Hey. Well, I've all of my stuff is things that were being said. I've just got Vito shooting the guy in the corridor, Michael banishing Fredo, the abortion scene, and killing the Don.
Don Fanucci. Best line. What better way to start than with this incredible beauty? I don't feel I have to wipe everybody out, Tom. Just my enemies. Is there a line more quoted than my father taught me many things here. He taught me in this room. He taught me keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. Because that's now quoted not just within the film context. That's quoted as
Is that where that came from?
Yes.
Wonderful. Because do you remember the CBBC game show, Keep Your Enemies Close?
No. Was it like Saboteur? Was it like Escape? What was that called? Trapped.
Trapped. No, this was like 50-50. It was like a big sort of assault course, and two teams went against each other, but you had to. Oh, Trapped was great. I like the mouth. Everyone's on about her. That's her from Come Outside, isn't it?
Yes, I believe so.
Yes. Very good.
That's him. That's Superman.
Gotta be a fake.
It ain't no fake. That's real. That's why they call him Superman.
You are the saboteur. If anything in this life is certain, if history has taught us anything, it's that you can kill anyone. Good advice.
You talk about, is that more quoted? I actually realise there's a line from this movie that I quote religiously, and it's I know
it was an abortion, Michael.
It's the you broke my heart. You broke my heart.
Yeah,
because that's what I say when people break my heart.
You broke my heart, Fredo.
You broke
I know
my
it was
heart.
you. I saw a strange thing today. Some rebels were being arrested. One of them pulled the pin on a grenade. He took himself and the captain in command with him. Now soldiers are paid to fight. The rebels aren't. What does that tell you? They can win. More great advice. You could release a self-help book with advice from
Michael Corleone.
Oh, Michael. Michael, you are blind.
That would make a great movie.
A miscarriage. I was in the middle of this is the moment I've been waiting for this whole episode. All of the Godfather episode, I was waiting for to deliver the Jack Waltz speech.
All right,
It was beautiful.
I'll do Pacino. I'll do Pacino because he doesn't say anything.
Oh, Michael. Michael, you are blind. It wasn't a miscarriage. It was an abortion. An abortion, Michael. Just like our marriage is an abortion. Something that's unholy and evil. I don't want your son, Michael. I wouldn't bring another one of your sons into this world. It was an abortion, Michael. It was a son, Michael. A son. And I had it killed because this must all end. I don't know that it's over. I knew it then. There would be no way, Michael. No way you could ever forgive me with this Sicilian thing that's been going on for 2,000 years. Bang! You won't take my children, Kay. I will. You won't take my children. They're my children, too. I despise your masquerade. The dishonest way you pose yourself. You and your whole fucking family.
You make it sound like it's the same scene. He's just
yeah,
that's all happened, and then he's just in the corner. I despise
your family. You heard what happened in my home. Mike, I almost died myself. We were all so relieved. In my home! In my bedroom where my wife sleeps. Where my children play with their toys. In my home. Up and down. Fredo, you're nothing to me now. You're not a brother, you're not a friend. I don't want to know you or what you do. I don't want to see you at the hotels. I don't want you near my house. When you see our mother, I want to know a day in advance so that I won't be there. You understand? The most cold-hearted line ever. And final one. Michael, I hated you for so many years. And I think that I did things to myself to hurt myself so that you'd know that I could hurt you. You were just being strong for us all the way Papa was, and I forgive you. Can't you forgive Fredo? He's so sweet and helpless without you. You need me, Michael. I want to take care of you now. Incredible. Will, any lines?
No.
None at all.
Well, I said one, and then you've done them all. You've done them all.
What's the change? I don't have any. Will, do you have any ones?
I do. I have a change, and it's that you need to like this one more.
I'm sorry. I do. I think that it just is, isn't it? I think the first one's more rewatchable. I think the second one, I say more rewatchable. I always watch them back to back.
I say it's more rewatchable because you have to watch the first before you watch the second.
I'm never flicking through Sky Movies, and I'm never disappointed when I have to watch 20 minutes of Godfather Part 2. I'm never like, oh. I'm like, that's great. Yeah, I'm glad that this is the movie that's on. Thank God it's not. I don't know. Joker. Joker was fine. Joker was fine.
Joker was great. What? That was a bad example.
I'd rather watch Godfather Part 2 than the Joker, though.
Oh, yeah.
What's left from Will's notes?
Nothing.
Nothing. What's left from my notes? The mother's reaction to Merle and Diana at the dinner table. It's that disdain for the two. It's like the Arrested Development joke where Lucille's talking about all of the wives and stuff. You know, I hate Tobias, and you married the one woman I liked that got brought into the family, and she was the one that had to die because she's died of cancer before the series has started.
I love a dinner table scene. You
like
love
the one from
The Campaign?
It's not the best. Campaign is a movie that I watched once, and I don't think I've ever thought of again.
No.
It's quite disappointing.
It was.
I love Tom Hagen. All I ever wanted was you to think of me as a real brother, Mike. It's lovely. And then again, by the end of the film, another relationship dead. The president of Havana looks an awful lot like the headmaster in Glee.
Maybe it is.
It's not. What the hell Superman show are they watching? Johnny Ola knows the best places. He took them to a show where a guy gets his massive dick out and has sex with a woman who's tied up.
You're saying this. You as a child were no different, really. You were exposed to all sorts of strange movies.
Not a live show. I was never watching porn, Will. There's a big difference between my mum going, you can watch Shawshank Redemption, it's a good film. Jesus.
I'll take you to a strange German theatre.
Another wonderful intermission. When I was in Philadelphia, Will, I actually saw the boat that my young Vito comes in on in the film, because it's now a restaurant.
The boat is a restaurant?
The boat is a restaurant.
Oh, very nice. Does it stay as it is, or does it go on a journey as you eat?
No, it's docked, because it's quite an old thing now, and it was far too expensive for me to eat there. Go on, let's talk about Godfather Part 3. Have you seen Godfather Part 3, Will?
No.
It's just bad. There are good bits in it. There are lots of good bits in it. The opera scene's excellent. A lot of the Andy Garcia stuff's good. It's just Sofia Coppola's terrible. The weird love story is a kissing cousins story. Like, oh, we're cousins and we can't be in love. Oh, it's just weird. It's really quite a boring subplot about the Vatican, and it's all. And then Michael's good. Michael's like a wacky guy now. He's trying to be nice to everybody again. And he's like trying to win back Kay. Duval's not in it because he requested, I think he found out that Diane and Mike and Al were getting 15 million and he was only getting somewhere between 5 and 10. And he said, no, I want 15 million. And so they had to rewrite and, it's just bloody terrible.
Have you got Vito in 3?
No, because he's dead, isn't it?
No.
It's just modern day, 1980, I think it's set. There's lots of good little bits in it, and again, if I'm flicking through channels and it's on, I'll probably watch 5 minutes, but I never find myself putting on all of Godfather Part 3. It's the rarity that I'm like, because it usually takes a year and a half for me to lie to myself and go, oh, maybe it's better than I remember. And then I watch it again and I go, no, some bits are good, but a lot of it's quite dull. and that's that. Whereas for me, I could watch these movies every day. They're so rewatchable and not boring in the slightest. And people dare to say these ones are boring. It's just so wrong and so bad. Ugh.
As much as anyone, I loved him and trusted him. Later on, he had an idea to build a city out of a desert stopover for GIs on the way to the West Coast. That kid's name was Mo Green, and the city he invented was Las Vegas. This was a great man of vision and guts, and there isn't even a plaque or a signpost or a statue of him in that town. Someone put a bullet through his eye. No one knows who gave the order. When I heard it, wasn't angry.
Alternate ending corner, there isn't one, but we do have, quite naturally, a lot of fun facts.
Yeah.
Francis Ford Coppola had a terrible time directing the first Godfather and asked to pick a different director for the sequel while taking the title of producer for himself. He chose Martin Scorsese, who the film executives rejected. Thus, Coppola agreed to direct the film with a few conditions. Those conditions being, I get to do whatever I want.
It's great. Yeah, well, I think I can't really see Scorsese doing a mob gangster movie. That was a joke.
Good.
And
there was a moment where I thought, I don't see him doing a mob movie that's not his, that he can't put his own voice to, that he's already restricted by the fact that if this film had the visual language of Goodfellas, it'd feel very much out of place. You know, they need to be companion pieces. The reason that it flows so well as one 6.5-hour job is because they feel so similar. Robert De Niro spent 4 months learning to speak Sicilian in dialect in order to play Vito Corleone. Nearly all of his dialogue is spoken in Sicilian. Though it is claimed, like the orange, though it claims to be based on the novel by Mario Puzo, only the young Vito stuff is basis in the book. So the sequel of, actually, I can't remember whether it's in the first, I didn't read the books.
So there's another book.
There are multiple books.
Oh.
And I can't remember whether it's in the first book or just the second book.
So the second book is a prequel?
The second book is just Vito, I believe.
Right.
And then they added more Michael, which was an excellent choice.
Show us.
Hyman Roth's character is loosely based on real-life mobster Myra Lansky, who at the time of the film's release was living in Miami. Reportedly, he phoned Lee Strasberg and said, "Now, why couldn't you have made me more sympathetic? After all, I am a grandfather."
Ooh, that's very creepy.
Didn't mean it to be. Production nearly ended before it began. When Al Pacino's lawyers told Coppola that he had grave misgivings with the script and was not coming. Coppola spent an entire night rewriting it before giving it to Pacino for his review. Pacino approved and the production went forward. Pacino later said that he didn't hate the script, he just thought it could be better.
What has he said exactly what he didn't like about it?
No.
Yeah.
We have no idea what.
I want to know.
I know, it's one of those things, isn't it? This was the first sequel to win the Best Picture. What's the only other sequel to win Best Picture?
Is it a trick question? Like it's not something two, it'll be a different name. No.
No, it's the third part of a trilogy.
I don't know.
Return of the King, Lord of the Rings.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not a big Lord of the Rings either. James Caan asked that he be paid the same amount of money to play Sonny Corleone at the end of the film in the flashback as he was paid to do The Godfather 1972. He got his wish. This was the days when the money was flowing and they could pay anybody whatever they wanted.
Money kept
rolling in from every side. Al Pacino caused problems throughout production, demanding a massive salary and heavy script rewrites. He frequently complained about Francis Ford Coppola's slow pace, yelling, "Serpico only took 19 days." I really hope that's true. I really hope.
Would you, I mean, I know your answer, and it's a silly question. Would you like to work with Al Pacino?
Yes. Oh, I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. Yes. Okay, so here's the big to-do. Originally, it was supposed to be Clemenza who agrees to testify against the Corleones, but there are multiple different stories. Richard S. Castellano, who played the actor in the first film, wanted to write his own lines and wanted a large salary increase. There's the story that he only would agree if his current girlfriend could write all of the lines. There's
nice.
the story that he refused to regain the £50 required for the role due to health reasons, and Coppola decided to replace him rather than having a thinner Clemenza. There's multiple different stories, so it's one of those where we don't really know. It's very annoying. I wish. Yeah. The unnamed senators in the committee were played by people who were primarily screenwriters and producers, such as William Bowers, Roger Corman, and Richard Matheson. Richard Matheson famously did more than a bunch of Twilight Zone scripts, and they're all great. Peter Sellers was considered for Hyman Roth.
Oh dear!
I can't really see that.
No.
Originally, Kay was to truly have a miscarriage. It was Talia Shire's idea that she should have an abortion instead, as the ultimate way to hurt Michael. To thank her for the idea, Francis Ford Coppola wrote in the scene in which she tearfully asked Michael to forgive Fredo. So everybody wins, because they're two of my favourite scenes of the film. And the film, that is the reason the relationship works. Well, not works, fails, but that abortion scene is incredible. According to the script, the movie's last shot in the film, centering on Michael as he gazes at the lake, occurs in 1968. Hence all the wrinkles and everything. It was actually the concluding aspect of a scene with his son Anthony, who declares he will not follow in his father's footsteps. Anthony was portrayed by an actor of about 18 years old. The scene was half filmed, but Francis lost the light before wrapping for the day and was unable to return to complete the scene. Is the movie better? I mean, the movie's perfect, and it'd be interesting to see this scene.
I like the idea of, rather than him having a son and then him turning against him, the fact that he never gets to have it.
He does have a son, though. He has Anthony, obviously. He has Anthony.
But he should never.
Shouldn't have any son.
That would kill him more. Well, not kill him. It would hurt him more.
And obviously, in the third film, Anthony becomes an opera singer. He doesn't have...
Which is wonderful. It's great. I love the opera.
So the character of the continuing is Andy Garcia, who is playing the bastard child of the Sonny and the Bridesmaid. which is an interesting term. Co-authors Mario Puzo and Coppola disagreed over whether Michael should have Fredo killed. Puzo only agreed on the condition that Michael would wait until their mother was dead, which is a very good line. I won't have anything happen to him whilst my mother's alive. Tom's big question. We disagree on which is a better part of the film, the Vito or the Michael. What's Kay's last straw? Because I think you can see it in her eyes on the shooting attempt. The morning after, not the morning after, sorry, that night where she's holding the child.
Yeah. It's the point where she feels the danger for herself and her family, where the whole time she's sort of seen it as, okay, Michael is business and family, and obviously he adores his family. But it's at that moment when the two become entwined. Yeah.
Come on, Frankie. You know my father did business with Hyman Roth. He respected him.
Your father did business with Hyman Roth. Your father respected Hyman Roth. But your father never trusted Hyman Roth.
Did Hagen have to know? Hagen had to know it was an abortion. Because she's not allowed off the compound. So Kay will have had to confess to him, I want an abortion.
And that would have got to Michael.
I mean, it's a great reveal, the abortion reveal, but I would love a scene between Kay and Hagen and Hagen going through with it, yeah. Because she's not allowed off the compound. She can't have a sneaky abortion. Because there's no line about it being to be crude, a coat hanger job. She doesn't do it herself. By all accounts, it's a proper job.
But they would have they'd need to get someone in, yeah.
Yeah. So Hagen must have known. So here's one. Did Kay and Hagen ever have an affair?
That was because it wasn't his child. He had an abortion because it wasn't his.
Tom Hagen's. No. She gets the abortion because she doesn't want the Sicilian thing to continue. Yeah. But it could be. Was Fredo lying? We talked about this. Did Fredo have to die?
Yes.
Would he have betrayed the family again?
Yes. Maybe not of his own.
I don't think he would have betrayed the family again, but I do think he has to die because he betrayed the family. You don't go against the family.
That's a great film. De Niro, The Family.
Is it actually? Because I only saw 1 star.
Did you?
Michelle.
I enjoy it. Yeah.
Don't they go watch Goodfellas Don't they go watch Goodfellas, and it's like never addressed that they're obviously watching De Niro?
I think it's meant to be an Easter egg that no one's meant to notice, but that's just very obvious.
Yeah. And it's not
Watch Mojo. Did you know that in?
Yeah. In the movie The Family, they watch Goodfellas, starring Robert De Niro. Do you know another movie that stars Robert De Niro? The Family, the movie that you're watching. Then she just keeps going until she just passes out. And Robert De Niro was also in The Family, which had an influence of Goodfellas, because they're both about gangsters. Number 8. Terrible. Synopsis of a sequel. We don't have Godfather Part 3. What's the Godfather Part 3 that you would have wanted to see?
I want Michael to die. I would quite like Anthony to turn against him and kill him. Like not just I don't want to be the Godfather, but I completely disagree with your morals, and it's a complete takedown and end it job.
What about
that might be cool.
or we could go full circle and Michael gets assassinated. And then Anthony is really forced to come in, just like Michael was in the first film, and we go full circle. And then, final twist, Tom Hagen killed him.
There you go. There's your movie.
It's anyway. Even if it's the worst film in the world and it's trashy and it's cheap, that sounds like a more interesting plot than.
I want more Vito as well. Continue the flashbacks.
Allegedly, according to Andy Garcia, during Godfather Part 3, there was talks about a Godfather Part 4 with Andy ascending and descending like this, with Leo, a young Leo, because it was 94, Godfather Part 3, a young Leo playing a young Sonny, and it would be the same trajectory. Now that film sounds good by me, because we get rid of Sofia Coppola. Unfortunately, Michael does die at the end of Godfather Part 3. He dies alone in Sicily and he drops his orange, and it's a nice moment. But he doesn't deserve. I don't know if he deserves. We love Michael. I do. He's one of my favorite characters ever.
I think he should die in battle, like a Sontaran.
We should go back to war. A 50-year-old Michael joins the Vietnam War. Older than 50? I don't know. I don't know the ages. Either of those sound better than what we got. Yeah, I could. Pardon me. Yeah, 90s Leo playing a young Sonny. In the 90s, though, because we haven't watched The Departed yet, obviously. So in the 90s, do we laugh off the idea of a brutish, violent, gritty Leo?
When was his first film like that? Gangs.
Gangs is... Yeah, but even in Gangs, he's very tepid.
Yeah.
He's like,
oh, how are you there, Cameron Diaz? And she's like,
oh, my dad. Oh, my dad's dead. No, he's always producing now. Good for him. Acting. Okay, so he's in Critters 3. Basketball Diaries. But that's very similar. Oh, I like heroin. It's very tepid. Titanic. Okay, so Godfather Part 3 comes out in 1990. So let's give them 3 years to make Godfather Part 4. So that would be Leonardo DiCaprio was in what in 1993? He was 1993 was What's Eating Gilbert Grape. So I don't see that Leo as young Sonny, but that's just me. Who knows? I mean,
can't say it now.
To quote The Muppets Most Wanted, we can't do any worse than The Godfather 3. We're doing a sequel. We're back by popular demand. While they wait for Tom Hanks to make Toy Story 4, that joke doesn't work anymore because he's made it.
Yes. I've still not seen it. Still not seen it.
It's fine. It's a fine little film. I wish that they just kept it at those three. The third ending.
The ending of the third, the handover. That's how it should end.
Yeah. And Toy Story 4 is a great film. It's fine. I don't think I'll ever watch it again, but it's a fine film by all accounts.
I don't enjoy Toy Story 3.
Oh, I like Toy Story 3.
All right.
Again, I famously love Monsters, Inc. That's my favourite Pixar. Your Incredibles and Ratatouille. I'm very firm on Monsters, Inc. being my favourite, but that's just me. But speaking of great sequels that return to earlier periods in lives, Monsters University, Godfather Part II.
Expertly done.
Expertly done. Will, do you have any final thoughts on Godfather Part 2?
Very, very nice.
And The Godfathers.
Yes,
This will probably be it. So we'll never return to we'll never do Godfather Part 3.
No, here's the deal. You can be Marlon if I get to be Pacino when I make the cover photo, when I make the...
Well, I don't know how that will. Where does Godfather rank in your top 10, top 20?
It's not in.
There you go. So I think I should be Pacino. And then for continuity, I need to be Pacino in both.
I'll be Fredo.
You'll be Fredo on that chair where he's leaning back. You can be the Superman guy with the gigantic penis.
Thank you.
I'll be Al Pacino. I'm sure the audience will have already seen it. They'll be looking at the thumbnail as we speak.
Yes, they will.
And they'll go,
this is fun, because we don't know currently what it is.
Ooh.
What have I thought of? I'm talking to future me now. What am I going to do?
Yeah, wow, fascinating.
Yeah.
It's like Memento. Good film. Not as good as The Godfather Part 2. Will, it's been a pleasure. How did we not sign off the Titanic episode with it? It's been a pleasure talking with you today.
Probably because you can't get the quote right.
I know it's been a pleasure playing with you tonight, Will, but we weren't playing with each other on the podcast.
You say that, and I'm surprised you didn't start Partridge with knowing me, Thomas Carruthers, knowing you, Will Leggetter. Are we going to have to go back and record? We're going to have to invite everyone back and re-record. No,
I'll do the voices. You do Becky, I'll do Alice. I like Paddington. There you go. It's like she's here. Close your eyes, everybody. For the audio listeners, it's like they thought, Alice is here now. What's happening?
Crazy.
I'm Becky, and sometimes my voice dips, and then, my microphone comes back up. Hello, I like La La Land. Oh, my God, they're all here. And
everyone's here. It's like Evita. It's like the ending of Evita when she's in a deathbed and she's having a flashback of her whole life.
Oh. What I'd give for 100 years. But the physical interferes. Oh, my creator. What's the good? I know I'm doing the whole serenade you to sleep, everybody. What's the best lyric in Evita, Will?
It is I don't know. I honestly don't know.
There's two. Number one is, what's the good of the strongest heart in a body that's falling apart? And the second one is, her only good parts are between her thighs.
Aaron's latest frame is, that was really fun. We did, this is the extended Godfather video now. This is like, I don't know what we're doing. But when I was in Evita, I played one of the guards in that scene with doing all the enemy evidence suggested that it was all very fun. But
other interest.
I'm a smaller person compared to others,
right?
And so you got this long line of army generals. You've got little me right in the middle, doing me marching and me glasses. It's very funny. I like my desk, camisados. That's a nice one.
The enemy, the aristocracy.
The whole of
Rainbow High.
Rainbow High is the best song. What's the one?
They called me a whore. I can't believe they actually called me a whore.
With fingers in dozens of different pies.
Which means, dun dun. Thank you very much, Will. I've been Thomas Carruthers.
Yes.
And I've been Alice. Yeah. And I've been Becky.
And I've been Nathan.
And I've been Nathan. I'm Garth. I'm Garth. Oh, I'm Garth. I'm from London. Oh.
And I've been Tom's mum.
I've been Sarah. Yes, wonderful. And I'm Ava. And I like. And I apparently like Muppets Most Wanted more than the Muppets.
That's, I believe, not returning guest Ava.
Muppets Most Wanted is great.
It's
Muppets
great.
Most Wanted is wonderful. But But that's another. That's a Muppet for a different day.
Da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-da-ba. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.